Hello, hello, and happy Saturday! How's everybody doing? Amethyst is relaxing, Soul is still waking up. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I literally just finished my caffeinated protein shake. I am house sitting, and so I came over and I was like, alright, we're gonna get my protein shake going, and then we'll hopefully be good to go. Good morning, IB Fatbeard. How you doing? I hope you're doing well this fine Saturday morning. And so thankfully the house I'm watching isn't all that far from mine. And so I'm like, okay, I can take it easy to start the morning. I can rush over. So I listened to some Christian lo-fi music this morning and just was like, let's go ahead and just ease into the day. Unfortunately, as you probably saw, good morning, Galaxy. How you doing? Hope you're doing well, my friend. In fact, let me double check something. I need to double check. I did miss one. You doing well today? Good. I'm glad to hear that. What does everybody have planned today? As you guys saw, I was up at about 4:30, partly because my brain woke me up because I needed to go to the bathroom. And the other part was I thought I heard the dog moving around. And so I'm like, okay, what time is it? And the house I'm at has blackout curtains, and so I couldn't really tell what time it was. And so I'm like, okay, well, I know I need to go to the bathroom, so I'm just going to go to the bathroom and then try and lay back down. So I got my Wordle done, and then I got my connections done, and then I found this game called Letterboxd. Let me show you guys this Letterboxd game. It's on New York Times. So I solved within 5 words, which is the goal. Typically it's about 4 to 6 words. But what they do is they give you, oh, there we go, these letters, and you have to make words out of them. So we have, all these letters around, and you make words out of them, but they cannot be next to each other. So for example, I could not make the word darn because the A and the R are next to each other. And so they tell you how many words you're supposed to get it in, and you're like, and so then you're like, okay, well, let's see if we can do it. But you can restart, which is nice. Good morning, Starlina. You're being a security blanket for a cat? Aww. How's your kitty today? You have lunch, head out for a community game day. Ooh! What do they do at community game day? Is it like video games, board games, little of both? Exactly. I have such early mornings, though. Typically that well, yesterday I actually managed to sleep clear through till about 7:15. And then I was like, oh, I actually managed to sleep in without waking up. And especially considering I don't have my sunrise alarm clock with me at the house that I'm at, I'm like, well, that's nifty. My body just naturally woke me up. But that reminds me, while I'm talking about it, let me... There we go. I've got my 4:45 alarm for Monday, because Monday is my last day of house sitting, but I also have work, and so I need to be up in time for that. You're gonna take your dad grocery shopping after stream. After that, you don't know, probably try to knock out as much of your SolidWorks homework as you can. How many do they have you doing this week? Strange to think how you're past midterms already, right? Right? Like, you're already like halfway through the semester. That is just absolutely bonkers to think about. I've got my Scentsy diffuser going this morning because I was like, the smell of apple cinnamon sounds good this morning. So I have my water, my 99.9% finished protein shake. In fact, there we go. I spared you guys the ASMR of me finishing it all up. But it is my caffeinated protein shake. I put in some Javi because I was like, you know what? I woke up a little earlier than I anticipated. I'm just going to go ahead and have my coffee. I was going to go through McDonald's, but then I remembered, I've got my Javi at home and I can save money. Because I'm trying to be wiser with my money and not just go spending willy-nilly. And so it's already been a fairly expensive month as it is. So 6 or 7, you finished one, and then partway through the second, they're not due till Thursday, so there's still a bit of material we haven't covered yet. Gotcha! Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you were able to finish the one. You're partway through the second. That shows that they're covering material at a good rate to me. That they have that first few that you can do over the weekend before, like between your Thursday and Tuesday class. And then you're able to do the rest of them, you know, between Tuesday and when it's due Thursday. Hopefully. And I'm glad that your dad seems so far to be pretty good with the new grocery shopping schedule. With Christmas coming up relatively soon, the most expensive months of the year are almost here, right? Right? Like, I've already realized, uh-oh. Stop. Hey there, Electro! How you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. I love that wibbly wobbly. And you guys, it is actually chilly this week. I got in my car and it said it was 55. Let me check and see what my weather app says right now. It says it is 53. It's going to get down to 46 with a high of 72. This entire next week, it is not going to get super duper hot. I am so glad that my town has finally figured out that it is fall, at least for this week. We'll see what next week has in store, because like this whole Sunday through, or I guess Saturday through next Saturday, roughly, seems to be good. So we'll see what the following week has. Mornings are cooling down. Daily temperatures are finally pleasant. I know, right? Did you get a lot of dust, Soul, yesterday? Because I was driving, running around doing errands with Mom yesterday, and there was a lot of dust getting kicked up. Oh, man. So, let's see. What else is there? What else is there? Let's see. Wednesday we had Awana, and I talked about waiting on God. And then this coming week is going to be a time where they can write down their questions for the pastor. And so what they're going to do is they get index cards, and the kinder through 6th grade get to write down questions that they would like the pastor to answer. And sometime next month, we're still not 100% sure when yet, just due to everything going on health-wise with him. But we're definitely keeping him in prayer, and he wants to answer those questions. And so it'll be either him or maybe our associate pastor, depending on how things go. You went outside the other day and thought to yourself, wow, it's actually nice out, right? Not so much dust around there. Okay, because I noticed it was mostly around the freeway, maybe. It must have been around the freeway where all the dust was going. But we went to, because we were running some errands, because Mom needed to get a form filled out, so we went to the local school district, thinking that was where we needed to go to get that form filled out, because she subs for that district, or at least she did a while back. And it turned out that wasn't where she needed to go, but they got her the number for the people that she did need to get in touch with. And so she got in touch with them. And since we were on that side of town and not that far away, I was like, oh, let's get street tacos. And so we went down to street tacos. I got a chicken quesadilla. She got a hot dog, like their street dog that has like bacon and all kinds of other stuff on it. And then we drove over to Ace Hardware because my car's spare key was ready. Unfortunately, we could not get it programmed for some reason because it just was not wanting to be programmed. And so we'll have to see what we can do at a later time as far as that spare key. So then I dropped her off. We chilled for a bit I chilled the rest of the evening at the house. Had some Panda Express for dinner. And it was really, really good. A nice chill evening and a nice chill day. And got to do some D&D. My bard is now a level 3. And getting closer to being ready for some of the more combat-heavy stuff, I think. Eventually she's going to be at the same level as a group that this particular DM is putting together on Discord. And so I'm like, ooh. And he's like, ooh, once we get you to like level 4 or 5, we'll be able to get you into this group. And I'm like, yes! And today I get to play as my rogue character, who is now level 7. And both of my characters have new toys, which makes me happy. I love it when my characters get new toys. I love getting to experiment with them. And also, as a reminder, once we start the game, I will be attempting to balance story of the game with keeping up with chat. So if you're talking midstream, if you're chatting kind of mid scene, I guess, it might be a bit before I can get to you, just because I'm wanting to really make sure that nobody misses out on the story. I don't want you guys to feel ignored either. So when it comes to the ending of scenes, that's when I'll really focus on catching up with chat and making sure that you guys get to say what you would like to. If it's something important that you guys really need me to see in the moment and respond to in the moment, I do have the, I do have the highlight my message option for 100 channel points. And you can do that, and I will know that that is a more urgent message that cannot wait until the end of a scene. So I'm really wanting to work on balancing with more story-heavy games like this. I just want to make sure I'm balancing that well. And so thank you so much in advance for understanding, and please know that I am not ignoring you, and I will get to your chat. Good morning, Agent Ice. How you doing? Grappling hooks are one of the best D&D toys in your opinion? Ooh, I have yet to get a grappling hook. I got a fire tongue sword thing, and then I got a frost sword. And I'm like, ooh, I've got the fire and I've got the ice. This is going to be awesome. And then I got a +1 dagger. And so that's super exciting for my bard, because she'll be able to better defend herself. She does need a good grappling hook. Triss definitely needs a good grappling hook. Elise could use a good grappling hook, but Elise is acrobatic enough, I think, that she could get away without it for a bit. But if we go shopping today, I just might have to buy a grappling hook, because I feel like that would be amazing. Speaking of street food, one of these days we need to check out this Korean corn dog place. I love corn dogs. In fact, there was a family vlogger I used to watch before, everything about family vlogging kind of went... Long story. If you want to get me started on that, I will, but I'll hold back. But he had a song that he would sing. Corn dogs, they are so good to me. Like, he had his corn dog song. And so every time that we did corn dogs, or every time we have corn dogs, I can't help but think of his corn dog song. I love that little spinning cat of cats. That is so cute, Electro. In our campaign, there's enough of us with grappling hooks that it's worked out okay. That is true. I still have my my character sheet for our campaign, but on D&D Beyond, I have my Saturday version of Elise, because that way I don't have to worry about upgrading everything on the other sheet. And then once we're ready, then I can do that. And our DM friend has said that perhaps once they get back from their trip, we might get to do something all together. But they have a pretty big trip coming on. So it was the grappling hook that enabled us to get the treasure from the bottom of the lake and completely ignore the traps that the DM had planned for us. Oh my gosh, yes! I love that! That was probably before I joined. I think that was just before I joined the campaign. Because I remember you guys talking about that, and I was like, oh, I missed that! Because I would have loved that. I would have loved that so much. And you guys, one of these days, I would love, once I have a chance to really work through all the, core rulebook, I would love to run a Pendragon campaign. It is essentially Knights of the Round Table. And you are a member of King Arthur's court. And to me, I'm like, I love Arthurian legend. I don't know a lot about it, but medieval fantasy like that really, really makes me, I'm like, oh, I like it. One of these days, I would just love to do that. And it might even be a good way to introduce my mom to tabletop roleplay, because she also loves Arthurian legend. Yeah, right before I joined. Pretty hysterical. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that, because that would have been absolutely amazing. I would have loved to have been a part of that and been able to, and it was obvious. Oh man, can you imagine our bard in that situation? Our bard would have been hysterical in that situation. Oh, man. All right, you guys, I think I'm loving this conversation, but I'm thinking it's time for some prayer. Right? I wish we had both been there too. Well, hello. Let's see, how many bees is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 bees and the number 41. Hello. Hello, hello. Thank you for the follow, and how did you find the channel? We're just going to go ahead and dive into prayer time, and then we'll keep the conversation going, probably at a little bit slower pace once we get the game going. So, if you have any prayer requests, please feel free to drop them below in chat, and I will be more than happy to pray over it. I will definitely get to that right after prayer time. Dear Lord, thank you so much for today. Thank you for who you are and how much you love us. Help us be able to manage our time well and to be kingdom-minded. Help us to think of the things of you, whatever is true, whatever is pure, honorable, lovely, and worthy of praise. I ask that you be with each and every one of us in a new and special way that's unique to us. Let us feel your presence today. Let us just have a fun time of fellowship over the next 3 hours. And I ask that everybody here just knows that you're here, Lord. I pray over Soul. I ask that you help her with her SolidWorks homework. I ask that you help her be able to understand everything that she's being taught, that she was able to pass her midterms with flying colors. I ask that you help her with her driving anxiety and help it get down to a point where it is more manageable, Lord. I ask that you be with her dad and his health, and as well as their relationship, Lord, that there's better communication, that there's better respect for boundaries, Lord. I ask that you be with Kitty and everything going on in her life. I ask that you be with Catherine Naomi and her, just everything going on in her life that's just going crazy right now, Lord. That you give her the job that you want her to have, Lord. I ask that you be with Dusty and his stress levels. I ask that you be with Dreamer as he's looking for a job. Be with STL and his family as they're adjusting to being in a new home. They're unpacking, helping another friend move. There's just a lot going on. And on top of that, all the headaches. Lord, I just ask that you be with all of them. Let the Botox work and rid STL of those headaches, Lord. I ask that you be with Phelan and the stuff that he messaged me about as far as the unspokens, Lord. You know what they are, and I ask that you be in that situation, Lord. Help him to not have any more headaches. Be with his relationship with his family as well, Lord. I ask that you be with Kishu and her busy schedule and her unspokens and her family as well, and be with just a little Spark and her health and her family, and be with Lady Foes and Adaphos and sweet little baby foes. And I ask that you be with Amethyst and just everything going on in her life. Let her be able to hear you above the noise. Let her just feel your love and presence. Let her find her identity in you, Lord. Be with Lotu as she's doing a partner push. Let that go well. And as they're getting ready to move, Lord, just be with her family and let that go smoothly. And same for Lady Foes and Adaphos as they prepare to move too. I ask that you be with my pastor and his health, Lord. Just let everything be healed, Lord. Let infection leave his body. Let it not have gone where it might have, Lord. Let him just get healthy and strong and recover, Lord. I ask that you be with just everybody here that I may have forgotten, Lord. Be with Bayo as he's working today. Let him be a light for you, Lord. and let him just feel your presence there and keep him close to you. Be with the Legend of Zyro and his family as they're going through a lot of changes and getting ready to start a new chapter in their life, Lord. Be with DLC, guide and direct us, Lord. I ask that you just be with everybody here and let us just have a fun time of fellowship and feel your presence here today. And in your name I pray. And be with Tie Chef Dave as well, Lord, and just everything going on in his life. And in your name I pray. Amen. Good morning, Dave. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. So, 5B41, if I am your friend, and we were at the zoo, and suddenly I turned into a goat, and the zookeeper's taken you, what would happen? That is a very interesting question. Very interesting. I think, are you asking what would I do in that situation? Gotcha. Are you asking what I would do in that situation? Because they might, just in case they might be lurking. Work has been kicking your tail lately, but you're doing well. Oh, I'm so glad that you're doing well. It is so good to see you. What has been some of your favorite things outside of work lately? What have been some things that you have found to help you kind of unwind and relax? So just as a reminder, you guys, we are going to be diving into the game. I will do my best to keep up with chat, but this is a more story-oriented game, and I don't want to detract from the story. So I will be waiting until the end of scenes to catch up with chat. And that way the story can kind of flow, but I'm also balancing keeping up with you guys. If it is something important that needs to be responded to right away, you can let me know that it is by using the highlight my message redeem, and I will be sure to respond to those right away. Ooh, what have been some video games that you like lately? You'll be asleep soon, it's almost bedtime. That totally makes sense. And also, this game is a Spooktober game, so it also means that it might not be as family friendly. This game is a little more not even a little more, a lot more PG-13 than some of the games I play. So this is about a girl named Ichika, and she and a group of people are working to solve a crime or a rash of crimes in their town. Fortnite, aka Footnight, aka Fork Knife. Dude, Dave, I need to add you on Epic. On Epic right now. Right now, before I forget. Is it the same username? And don't worry, your secret's safe with me. No worries, take your time. You mainly listen to the streams anyway? Nice. I like it. I've found myself being a lot more of a lurker lately too. I kind of try to balance lurking with being somewhat active, just so they know that I'm still there. But I found I need to be better about that balance, so You lurk like 90% of your Twitch time. I love it. I love it. I think I'm about probably 60-40, depending on the time of day, whether or not I'm modding. I tend to be more active if I'm modding, but if I have multiple streams I'm modding in, I'm like, okay, lurking here for a minute, doing this. Okay, lurking, like bouncing back and forth. All right, cool, I found you. All right, friend request sent. All right, let's dive into the game. So when we last left Ichika and the gang, she had just left the detective's place. And so now she is outside. Oop, I almost forgot. I need to turn game audio up. There we go. That way you guys can hear it as well as me. Elgato source on audio is good. Yay! Confirmed! We need to do some fork knife together at some point. Squinting at the rays of the morning sun, I left the detective office. Good morning, Artsy. How's it going?
Oi.
I turned around to see Sasazuka there. What is it?
お前、なんで迷った？
Huh?
考えさせろって言ってたけど、お前に俺たちを拒否る理由ってあるの？柳さんはああ言ってたけど、お前がどんな答えを出すにせよ、お前自身が X デー事件の手がかりなのは変わらない。少なくとも俺は簡単に逃がす気ねえから。
What's that supposed to mean?
使い道のあるバカなら利用するだけ。なんでわかんねえの？
Sasazuka's eyes narrowed in irritation, and then, suddenly, he yanked my muffler hard. Hey!
黙れ。
What is this guy's problem? Sasazuka was glaring at me. He stared at me with what looked like hatred. A chill ran down my spine, and I froze.
命がかかってるからって、誰もがお前に同情すると思うな。
It was a shocking statement. Yanagi, on the other hand, had said that he didn't want to let me die. The moment of safety I felt had vanished. I realized that, even for a moment, I had allowed myself to think that I was in a sympathetic environment. But he's different. I could be killed at any moment. Did he really not care at all?
お前に自覚があろうとなかろうと、アドニスがお前に何らかの価値を見出してるのは事実だ。このつながりを無駄にできるかよ。どんな推挙か知らねえけど、向こうも真相にたどり着けって言ってんだ。忘れたか。首輪のやつは言ったろ。お前を通して俺らのことも見てるってな。俺は事件を解決するためだけに動いてる。そのためにお前の存在が必要だってんなら、絶対に逃がさねえ。
That's... I replied in a voice cracking with fear. Ooh. Alright, guys. Do we go with... Do you suspect me? Or you don't care if I die? If I remember, the route split happens when Sakuragawa asks Ichika which case she wants to investigate. It sort of acts like a tiebreaker. Your answers to the previous questions determine which cases are available to you at that point. Answering correctly doesn't automatically put you onto that route, so no worries there. Gotcha. It's all good, Dave. I don't know what I'm doing in Fork Knife either. It's all good. Going pretty well. Hey, Vocal Duck! Spooky, scary Saturdays send shivers down your spine. Bum 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 bum. Answering incorrectly, though, puts you one step closer to a bad ending. One that I narrowly managed to avoid when I borrowed my copy, so there's your hint from me. Oh man, okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go with... I'm gonna go with Do You Suspect Me? I think I'm gonna go with Do You Suspect Me and see what happens. Do you suspect me?
それもある。
What else is there? She says, is beauty all that matters to you? And you say, what else is there? It was dumb, I know. My apparently thoughtless question seemed to only further Sasazuka's irritation with me, and he glared even harder.
危機感が足りてねえからだよ。
Huh?
柳さんはああいう人だからいちいちお前に配慮してお前の意思を尊重しようとする。ミネオはバカだから周りのことまで頭が回ってね。白石さんは面白がってるだけでどう転ぼうが構わないと思ってる。だから俺がご親切に教えてやってんだよ。お前に突きつけられた現実ってものをな。
No, really? I'm in a situation, she's in a situation where she has a collar around her neck that could kill her. And I think she realizes the danger of the situation, Sasazuka. He lowered his voice as he finished, and then let me go. Sasazuka?
平和ボケした頭を切り替えろ。お前はもう X レイ事件の渦中にいる。死にたくなかったらな。
This person. Was he worried about me? Or was he just making fun of me again? Although, he's right. Despite the harsh delivery, Sasazuka was giving me the unvarnished truth. Sasazuka exasperatedly looked at me again and sighed in disgust.
いいか、とにかくお前の選択肢に俺たちから逃げるってのは存在しねえ。黙って捜査に加わるか、俺らに見張られ利用されるかの二択だ。その上でどっちがマシかを考えろ。分かったな。
Under Sasazuka's ice-cold glare, I finally nodded.
バカ猫、今言ったこと忘れるな。
Leaving me with that, Sasazuka went back inside without a second glance. Feeling like a fugitive, I checked behind me once I reached the intersection. I saw him go back inside, so I knew he wouldn't have come after me, but still. I want to hurry up and get home. I was staring at the red light when I was suddenly tapped on the shoulder. Huh? I jumped in surprise and spun around.
ごめんね。君、さっき探偵事務所にいた子だよね。
AP guy. Not knowing why he had approached me, I nodded cautiously. That's right. I had a request for them. It was a detective agency, so I thought that would be a good bluff. But his eyes went wide.
依頼できた？
Yes.
おかしいな。基本的に依頼は受けていないって聞いたんだけど。
Wait, really? Alarmed by the sudden twist, I thought back to what Yanagi said.
あの男は X デイ事件を捜査中の俺たちを守るという任務についている。警視庁警備部警護課の岡崎圭だ。どういう理由で SP を俺たちにつけているのか、警察の意図は分かっていない。
I knew that Yanagi was independently pursuing the X-Day cases. In other words, this man knew the detective agency was just a front. Regretting such an obvious lie, I scrambled desperately for a cover. They made an exception for me. I had nowhere else to turn, so I begged them, and they took on my job. What a terrible excuse.
君が土下座したの？
Yes, I needed their help. I had no choice.
そう、それは大変だったね。
He gave me a look of pity. I'm sure I would do the same in his position. The signal changed, so I'll be off now. Goodbye. I tried to leave as quickly as possible.
あ、待って。女の子の一人歩きは危ないから家まで送ってあげる。
He tugged on my shoulder, on my sleeve, and smiled. This is bad. I'll be fine. It's right around the corner.
遠慮しなくてもいいよ。ほら、行こう。
Okazaki took my hand and started walking. He's pushier than I expected. What should I do?
あ、自己紹介がまだだったよね。俺は岡崎圭。
I know. Of course, I didn't say that out loud.
ちょっと事情があって、あの事務所にはよく行くんだ。
I know that too. After another mental comeback, I took some time to consider my next move. I'm glad my holster's concealed under my coat. If not, he'd know that I was a cop. No matter how many times I said I was fine, he wouldn't listen, and now we neared my home. I didn't prompt the subject, but he'd been talking about the detective agency the entire time we'd been walking.
ね、安心して。とっても優秀な人たちの集まりだから、きっと君の依頼をこなしてくれるよ。
I see. Well, they were police, so that makes sense.
真面目で芯の強い人たちなんだ。多分、君も接していけばわかると思う。
Okazaki's gentle smile made me a little curious about why he was assigned by the police to protect the group. It's right here. And see, this is my issue. Random dude offers to walk you home and you don't know this guy at all. I personally would not lead him directly to my house. Or even my apartment complex. If I couldn't shake him, I would be like calling on my buddies at the police station. I would be, anything I could to get this guy off me. And in the meantime, I would be leading him away from where I live so that he doesn't know and he can't come back. If I just picked a different apartment to lose him, he'd follow and know I was lying. With that in mind, I thought I'd just head directly to my place.
またね。
See you around? I wanted as little to do with him as possible, but he was protecting Yanagi's group. But if he was protecting Yanagi's group, I'd run into him again if I went there. Wait a second. The letters from the criminals. He could have planted them, right? He works for the police, so he could have slipped in the first letter with the files. He comes in through the window, so he could have left the second letter in the office.
それじゃ、バイバイ。
I love the bye-bye. Yes, thank you very much for your help. I stared at his back as he walked away. Okazaki. He spoke as if he knew quite a bit about Yanagi's group. They're the people he's protecting, so that's perfectly natural, but... Only a certain caliber of person worked in SP. There should be many other people in this town worth protecting in a city this dangerous. Good morning, Gusty, how you doing? Yet he was watching Yanagi's group. Something's definitely off. The longer I thought about it, the more I felt like I couldn't trust him. To begin with, the first letter indicated that a criminal was in the station, or that there was a traitor in the ranks. But why me? Even more questions now filled my head. She is one of our sympathizers, and a woman with the potential to inherit our will, so treat her with courtesy. A sympathizer. Though Yanagi's group and Okazaki were linked, I had no idea who that term applied to. I couldn't think of anyone who'd sympathized with the perpetrators of the X-Day murders. Who put this collar on me? What do they want? I don't know anything. Oh, did the Ducks play recently? Japanese culture plus the context of the game, plus him being an SP officer and assigned to monitor Yanagi's group, it adds up in a way. But I would absolutely lead him to a different location too. Exactly! Like, I don't know him, and at this point, I don't know if Ichika knows who she can trust. And so because she doesn't know who she can trust, I wouldn't lead anybody to where she lives. I would hope that as a police officer she would know not to do that, but yet also her logic makes sense, given that he was the type of person and is the type of person that would take her home, and if he saw her walking somewhere else would kind of go, I wonder where she's going, you know? So, I see the logic in both, but I would opt for the, let's just not let him know where I live. Let's not have him go to my house. It's the weekend, the Ducks won again, things are great, nice! I love that! I'm so glad that the Ducks won! Do the Ducks have like a special song that they sing when they win or when they score a touchdown? Because I know for us, we do Bear Down, Arizona. Up north, they do the let's see, For it's hail, hail, the gang's all here, and it's onward to victory. That one, I think it's hail to the maroon and gold or something like that. Up in the north, about an hour north of me. You've thought about this before while playing this. I want those macaron pillows. I don't need them, but I want them. I could probably sew them, but where would they go? Ooh. They look like they would go well with your futon. And so if anything, what they could do is be a mixture couch decoration. So you could have them on either end of your couch. And then use them also as a pillow for your futon. But the question is, would little Miss Evangeline go crazy on them? That is a valid question. When I got home, I sat down on my bed to think instead of changing my clothes. What should I do now? Thank you for the lurk, Nanaki. So good to see you. My thoughts traveled a maze of twisty passages, all alike.
いたのかよ。
And this is Ichika's brother, Kazuki. My brother Kazuki came into the living room. The clock read 7 a.m. It was about time for him to wake up. Morning. Sorry I didn't make breakfast.
いらない。それより、今日はいいの？
Nope. I'll rest a bit and then head into work. I'm busy this evening, so I think I'll be home late.
あ、そう。
With that, Kazuki left the room. Normally I'd say I'll make breakfast now and then force him to eat it, but honestly, I didn't have the strength now. Frankly, I had my hands full. I mean, it makes sense. You've got a lot on your mind there, Ichika. Of course you wouldn't have the mental spoons to force your brother to eat breakfast. I need to get some sleep. I wasn't in the mood to do anything, so I plopped onto my bed and closed my eyes. But slumber didn't take me. In the end, I didn't sleep a wink, and it was time for work. I came to work tired, so I made a lot of careless mistakes. Mochida sent me home early, so I groggily made my way to the train station. I still have time left to burn before I'm supposed to meet Sayaki. I wonder if there's anywhere near the pub where I can kill time.
ねえ君
Ugh, man, today was horrible. I caused a lot of trouble for Mochida, too.
あれ聞こえてないねえ君
Today I should go over to Yanagi's office and decide when I'm...
わっ
Yeah!
やっと気づいてくれたさっきから声かけてたんだよ
Okazaki? Sorry, I was deep in thought. We parted ways this morning. I didn't expect to run into him here again. They were serious about him being ghostly.
ねそこの公園でちょっと話さない
Huh? Talk? I wasn't thinking quickly enough for this. We both work for the police, so I don't want to let anything slip. I'll just have to apologize and turn him...
じゃあ行こ
What? I...
ダメ
I have plans already.
ちょっとだけでもダメかな
He looked at me like an abandoned puppy dog, and my reluctance faded. No, it's fine.
よかったそれじゃはい
He casually swept up my hand, and I knew that I was trapped now. This park used to be bustling with children playing. Any person who was younger than 20 was now escorted by an adult guardian until they got home. Alright, we've got an ad break starting in about a minute. I will make sure to go to BRB so that you guys don't miss anything as far as relates to the story. So, if you are not subbed, don't worry, you are not gonna miss a thing. Nobody knew when something might happen, so most people kept their children at home. That's why the park was so empty.
ここ座ろっか
Okay. What are we going to talk about anyway? We were sitting on a bench, but Okazaki didn't seem like he was going to say anything. I just sat quietly and sadly looked at the abandoned park. I felt pressure on my shoulder and saw... And he's asleep! He's sleeping? Huh. You've got to be kidding me. He's not just faking? I watched him for a bit, and he really did seem to be asleep. He just instantly fell asleep in public. Was this guy really an SP officer? Alright guys, we'll be back in a minute after the ads. Alright, you guys, welcome back from ads. You have not missed a single thing. On the topic of Guardians, I think I remembered wrong the other week's stream. The government issued firearms to people aged 20 and over, so that wouldn't include Kazuki. Ichika is more or less his guardian here. That is a good point. He did kind of seem more like he was in maybe late high school, if I remember correctly. I want to say he's like a junior or senior. Maybe early college, but either way, not 20. Not 20 yet. Now what? I can't move. Having said that, I couldn't bring myself to wake Okazaki, who was sleeping so soundly. I'd heard that SP work was really tough. Maybe he doesn't get enough sleep. Just a little while then. I was sure he'd wake up in a bit. Thinking that, I stayed still. Okazaki showed no signs of waking up at all. It's already been half an hour, and it's getting really hard to hold this position. I kind of feel bad, but I'm waking him up. Okazaki? Please wake up. The sun's already going down. Okazaki? At last, Okazaki sleepily opened his eyes. No, it's evening. For some reason, Okazaki still didn't get off my shoulder. Then he gently laughed. Huh? His tone seemed to be genuinely warm and friendly. I'm not sure I get it, but I think he's genuinely thanking me? I'm glad you were able to get some rest, Okazaki.
ありがとう。やっぱり君って優しい子だね。
You said you had something to discuss?
話、そうそう。そういえば君、名前なんて言うの？
That's... I didn't want to associate with him if possible, so I shouldn't have given my name. But I thought it would be even more suspicious if I didn't give him my name.
今朝タケル君が君をバカ猫って呼んでたけど。
Huh? This morning? Back then? He was there? It wouldn't be strange for him to be watching the area around the office, but I didn't even notice him.
もしかして猫って名前なの？珍しいね。
Something like that.
そっか。じゃあ猫さんって呼べばいいのかな？
Sure, that's...
じゃあこれからはそう呼ぶね。猫さんって可愛い響きだな。
This conversation has taken a weird turn. I guess I can just consider it a nickname.
それにしても、君って嘘がつけなさそうだよね。
Oh, really?
やっぱり。
He might have realized that Cat isn't actually my name. I felt terrible lying to a fellow officer, but the criminals would be listening too. If I tell him what's going on, it might endanger both of us. Thinking, I gripped my hands tightly.
誰にだって隠し事はあるよ。
Eh?
何かを守るために必要な隠し事と誰かを傷つける嘘は違う。
He has a good point. There's a difference between protecting and hurting. Like, if she wasn't in such danger at the moment, I'm sure, you know, there would be still that guarded quality to her just from her knowledge as a police officer. But add on that level of, I've got these bad guys listening in, and if I say the wrong thing, I'm done for. That adds a whole new level of, I've got people to protect, including myself.
俺にはわかるよ。君は嘘がつけない子。だから君の嘘は誰かを傷つけない。
How's it going, dreamer? Okazaki. His direct words and confident tone sounded like he'd seen through everything. I was bewildered, but strangely, my heart felt a little lighter.
俺はね、君みたいにまっすぐな子が好き。
Oh.
俺はね、君みたいにまっすぐな子が好き。自分がそうはなれないから。
Huh? I blinked. Entranced by his gentle, smiling eyes, I felt like he was the straightforward one, not I. That made my guilt return with a vengeance. So, if I were to tell you a lie that hurt you, what would you do?
少し悲しくなるかな。
Okazaki's glum expression was so faint, it looked like his world would crumble. I was concerned about Okazaki's expression, but he said that he had to return to work, and just left. I thought I'd have to be on my guard, but maybe it was just the atmosphere. He just backed off. I don't want to suspect Okazaki. Alright, let's catch up on chat here. Kazuki is still in high school and I think he's 18. Ichika, you do not know this strange man who seemingly fell asleep on you in public. You can absolutely do something about this. Goodness knows I would have woken him up without remorse, right? I would have been like, excuse me, sir? Get away from me? This is not what I signed up for at all. Not at all? You said you, wanted to talk and now you're asleep? What is going on here? Get away from me. Methinks you need to get more analog. I get that feeling where you feel like you've wasted the morning, for sure. For sure. I'm like, I get that because if I wake up too late in the morning, I feel like I've wasted the morning. And so if I'm not up by about 7:30, 8 o'clock at the latest, I'm like, great. There goes my morning. I appreciate her characterization that she's looking out for him, too. Even though she has every reason to be wary of him, she's thinking of his safety as well as her own. That is so true. And I love that about her, that she's like, okay, I'm not sure I trust him, but I also don't want anything bad to happen to him because of me. And so she's protecting everybody, including herself, and I love that about her. You woke up at 5 and did Zippo all day? Oh no! I was actually up at about... So I initially woke up about 4:30, went to the bathroom, did my Wordle connections, etc. Fell back asleep by about 5. And then the dog I'm watching woke me up at about 5:40-ish. And so then I let him out, and then I've just been up since then. And so I finished up my coffee, and now we're playing some Collar X Malice. I met up with Sayaki at the pub, and gloomily took a seat.
ご注文は
Oolong.
生をジョッキで2つ。
Sayaki, I'm sorry to be a drag, but I'm not really up for drinking today.
じゃあ生ビール1つと。
Oolong tea, please.
生ビールとウーロン茶ですね。少々お待ちください。
I am so proud of how Ichika handled that. He tried to order for her and she's like, actually that's not what I want, and she's standing up for herself, and I love that. But she's still being polite while doing it. I love it. I sighed in relief and used the hot towel. I'm tired, but I'm meeting Yanagi's group immediately after this. It wouldn't be a good idea to drink. I felt guilty for not being able to drink with Sayaki because he invited me here.
前から約束してたのに一人だけウーロン茶とかさ。なんだ、付き合い悪くないか。
Sorry, I pulled an all-nighter, so I'm really beat.
冗談だよ。付き合ってくれただけ感謝してるって。
I was looking forward to today too. It's been a while since we went drinking together.
そう言ってもらえると嬉しいけどさ。まあでも、あんま無理すんなよ。悩み事溜め込むのは良くないぞ。
That is true. If you're going through something, don't bottle it up. Don't bottle it up. Okay?
今日も署内でお前見かけたんだけど、気もそぞろっていうか、ただの睡眠不足ってだけじゃない気がしてさ。特防なりの苦労もあるって知ってるし、何か力になれることがあったら遠慮なく言えよ。
Aww, Sayaki is amazing. Right? Points for him. Notices something's up. Hit the brakes. Everything okay? I love that. That is an S tier friend right there. Sayaki. His words made me tear up. Maybe it's because I was so dejected.
あ、でも今月金欠で金関係は力になれないかもしれない。
And that jarred me right back to reality. It was so like him.
いやほら、警察官も人間だからさ、金欠の時もあるってな。
Yeah, sure.
普通だったら男の俺がおごるとこを毎回割り勘にしてくれてる星野には感謝してる。マジで。
It's not a big deal. We've split the tab for as long as I've known you. While we chatted, the server returned with our drinks.
やっぱ星野は話がわかるな。なんかさ、同じ交番勤務のやつと飲みに行ったんだけどさ、俺が警察官になったのは人々の幸せと世界平和のためって言ったら爆笑されてさ、どこがいけないんだっつうの。純粋な夢だと思うだろうな。
Yeah, after all, you are keeping the peace around here, Sayaki.
ああ、こう見えて結構子供たちにも慕われてるんだ。
Aw, I bet he is. I can see that. You're a pretty friendly guy, Sayaki.
まあな。そういや、星野が警察官目指した理由、真面目だったよな。
Serious? Not really. I just wanted to help people who were in need.
ああ、そうそう。昔財布を拾って交番に届けたらすっげえ感謝されたんだっけ？
Yeah, I didn't do anything special, but I felt pretty happy knowing that I could help somebody out.
今も特防で困ってる人の悩みを聞いてるし、お前は間違いなく誰かの役に立ってるよ。
Really? I hope so.
俺 俺が言うんだから間違いないって。まあ全部を救うなんてのは難しいけどさ、せめて自分の手が届く場所にいる人が悲しんでたら助けたいよな。
Yeah, you're right. My conversation with Sayaki helped me to remember my conviction. He's right. I was trapped in this situation, and I stopped looking around me. Right now, the X-Day killings have everyone in the police station on edge. At this very moment, somebody in this town might be targeted. The problem wasn't the collar on my neck. The X-Day incidents were the root of it all. My duty is to preserve peace in Shinjuku. No matter what, I have an obligation to everyone to pursue this until the end. If there was even a chance that it'd help someone who is in a situation like me, a police officer should do whatever they can. This is no time to hesitate. Thanks a lot, Sayaki. I'm feeling much better thanks to you.
よくわからないけど力になれたんならよかった。よし、気分も良くなってきたし、ビールおかわり。
Hey, maybe you should stop. Whew boy, if police training is anything like it is over here, well, Sayaki might want to be recording these conversations. I'm gonna listen to the way he reads that line again.
みんなまとめて俺が面倒見てやるか。
Sayaki, you're drinking too much. Come on, let's go home. Sayaki kept throwing back beers until he ended up passed out on the table. I urged him to get up and shook his body, but I knew he wouldn't wake up in that state. Sayaki? Sayaki! Hey! Wake up!
引っ張るなって。これだから人気者はつらいね。
Gosh, he always drinks so much, even though he can't hold his alcohol. Yeah, he can't even handle one beer. Oh, a text. Watching Sayaki mutter incoherently in his stupor, I took out my phone. Are you still at work? It's Yanagi. Oh no, it's already so late. It was already past 10. I'm sorry, I'll head over shortly. Anytime you can come by is fine. You can come after work's done. Let me know when you're heading over. I'll be there around 11. Got it. I'll let the other guys know. I hurriedly replied and closed my phone. Excuse me, may we have the check, please?
はい、少々お待ちください。
Sayaki, get ready to go. I'm thinking we're talking 11 o'clock at night, considering she said it was so late. Which makes it even more weird. Hey, Hojo, can you speak up? It's my first time playing a drunk. What's your excuse? Right? I called him and pulled on his arm, but Sayaki wouldn't return from Dreamland. Dang it, Sayaki!
はい。
Through some miracle, he made it out of the pub, but Sayaki wasn't steady on his feet. Oh, maybe it is in the middle of the day. Unless it's just really bright. I'll call you a cab once we're on the main road. Just hang in there until then.
大丈夫だって。 歩いて帰れるから走っても帰れる。
Oh my gosh, please do not let this guy run. That's crazy. Hey, look out. Before I could grab Sayaki's arm, he plowed right into somebody who happened to be walking right in front of him. I'm sorry, it was Enomoto.
お前なんでこんなとこに。
Both of our eyes went wide as we never expected to bump into each other here. Once he noticed drunk Sayaki, his wide eyes narrowed and Enomoto frowned.
ってお前飲みの帰り？今日うちの事務所に来るって言ってなかったっけ？
I already had a prior engagement today. I texted Yanagi that I'd come afterwards. Oh, is Enomoto in a bad mood? He gave Sayaki a sideways glance.
そいつお前の彼氏。
Huh? No, Sayaki and I don't have that kind of relationship.
必死に否定するとこが怪しいっつうか。まあ俺には関係ないけど。
And yet you still asked.
で、相当飲んでるみたいだけど、そいつどうすんだよ。さすがに道に捨てるわけにはいかねえだろうし、タクシーでも拾ってやろうか。
Well, let me think. I'm a bit worried, so I'll probably take him home.
はあ？送るってお前それ男の家に行くのか？
Well, yeah.
なんつうかそれはさすがにまずくないか？
Wait. Random dude can walk her home, but she can't make sure that her guy friend gets home? Her guy friend, coworker, academy person gets home safely? Talk about a double standard. Huh? Bad? I've already had to take him home many times before.
何回もってお前彼氏じゃない男の家に行くとか軽すぎねえ。
Enomoto seemed to be in shock, and he backed away from me. Enomoto?
お前そいつに気があるんじゃねえの？
What? I told you before, it's not like that between us.
ムキになるとこがますます怪しいな。そもそもだ、二人っきりで飲むとかなんか間違いあってもおかしくねえし。
We were classmates at the police academy. Enomoto's eyes were full of doubt. What reason does he have to be looking at me like that? We'd only just met recently, and he'd used up all the patience I had for him. Enomoto, knock it off, or I'm going to get angry.
なんだよ。つかもう怒ってんじゃねえか。
What did you expect? You keep asking the same question, and then you don't listen to me. We silently glared at each other.
なんだよ、声が頭に響く。
Stirring, Sayaki just opened his eyes.
あれ、この人誰？
Huh? I paused, at loss for an explanation. I couldn't tell Sayaki the truth.
言えないような関係ってことは。わかった、お前の彼氏だ。
Why is everybody assuming she has a boyfriend? They're just in each other's face. I love it.
違うのか?
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong. Of course you are.
そうだよ。誰がこんな女と?
Oh, he deserves a gib slap for that one. What? A girl like this?
あ、いや、だってよ。しとやかそうな会見しといてよ。思ったより気が強いっつうか。
What?
ああ、もうとにかく、お前は俺のタイプじゃねえ。
Well, you're not my type at all either. When I raised my voice during this tit-for-tat, Enomoto seemed to stiffen in surprise.
そっか。お前のタイプじゃなくてよかった。
He was hanging his head in shame now. Did I overdo it? But he's the one that instigated all this nonsense.
頭痛い。
Eh? I looked over at Sayaki, whose face had turned an unhealthy shade of green. Uh-oh.
おい、お前、大丈夫か?
ダメかも。
Sayaki? Get a hold of yourself. I'm getting you a taxi right now. I love how they show him stumbling all over the place. It's a nice touch. It really is. I loved that. Those lights mean middle of the night on the strip. Yup, that's what I was thinking too. Jealousy. I love Into the Woods. I love that song, Agony. That is a wonderful song. I have very good memories of it. Right? How primeval, and he was totally born in the wrong century. Right? You're already angry? Or you're already angry. Then be quiet. Shut up. Don't make it worse. Yeah, Automat is just being weird. In the end, Enomoto stepped in and helped me prop up the drunken Sayaki. He didn't hesitate and rushed in and graciously helped out. I really needed his help with Sayaki. Yeah, he kind of seems like once he gets passed out, he would be, like, super dead weight. After that argument, this was a nice surprise. But I guess I don't know him that well. We got out of the taxi in front of the office, and I turned to Enomoto. You really helped us out. Thank you.
いいよ、別に。
And,
俺は、お前のことを疑ってっから。
Uh-oh. Huh? Out of the blue, and apropos of nothing, Enomoto blindsided me.
お前が犯人と繋がってる可能性が高いってのは間違いない事実だからな。柳先輩が捜査に加えるって言うなら従うけど、変に期待すんなよ。
I was pretty stunned that he would just come right out and say that to my face. Right? Mr. Victorian civility. Go with the choice I went with before. Oh gosh, I can't remember which one I went with before. I think it was I understand. Oh no, I'm totally blanking on which one I went with before. The one in blue. Okay, it was I want to trust you. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Whether he understood or not, the mistrust I saw reflected in his eyes was painful. He used to be a police officer. His devotion to justice is obviously going to make it hard for him to trust someone like me. I know what you want to say, Enomoto. This situation is bound to breed mistrust, so it's natural that you wouldn't trust me. But still, I want to trust you, and I want you to trust me. I looked straight into Enomoto's eyes and told him my true feelings. I knew that I was being childish. If I wasn't wary of everyone around me, it would come back to haunt me. Still, I couldn't lie about my true feelings. We'll be seeing each other more often, so if we can get to know each other a little, we might be able to dispel the doubts we have.
変わらない可能性もあると思うぜ。
That's also true. I'm prepared to accept that. But I'd like to at least start on the path of earning your trust. I'll work as hard as I can until I prove that you can all trust me.
好きにすればいいんじゃねえの。
The moment before he turned away, I thought I saw a hint of sorrow in his eyes after he made that remark. Yanagi, Sazazuka, Enomoto, and I continued our conversation from this morning. Apparently, Shiraishi was unavailable because he was occupied with police work. First order of business was my answer. As a police officer, I want to solve the X-Day cases as soon as possible. I also really want to remove this collar. Solving the X-Day cases do both, so I'll do that. But given the situation at the police station, I can only do so much, especially since I have no investigation experience. All of you have been investigating the X-Day incidents for quite some time now. I may not be of much help, but would you please allow me to work with you? Hello there, GRT234. Thank you for the follow. How did you find the channel, and what kind of games do you like to play? They considered how to deal with me. As long as I was possibly tied to the perps, they'd have reservations about my inclusion. I am a Christian! Are you? Inwardly, I trembled with anticipation and anxiety. Well, it's super nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Yay! Welcome to the family! You're gonna be baptized tomorrow! Congratulations! I am so happy for you! That makes me ecstatic. I still remember when I was baptized. Inwardly, I trembled with anticipation and anxiety.
当事者のお前が決めたことなら、俺はその意思を尊重したい。
ま、どのみちこいつから目を離すわけにはいかないしな。
近くにいれば、いざって時にも対応できるだろう。
Oh, you've been a Christian since 18 or 19, and now you're 31 and getting baptized. Woohoo! Exactly. Better late than never. Exactly. Better ever than never. And now you know this is what you want and this is what you need to do. And that is so exciting. I'm so happy for you. They all responded differently, but it seemed like they'd all accepted me into the group. I was relieved.
こいつが加わるとして捜査体制は変えないんだろ
お前たちには今まで通り X デイ事件の捜査を続けてもらう。首輪の構造を調べられない時点でやれることも限られるしな。今は各事件の情報収集が先決だ。
Enomoto nodded, though his face showed a look of displeasure.
気になってたんだけど。
Sasazuka stared daggers, not at me, rather directed at Enomoto.
お前、最近捜査してる？
For the slightest of moments, Enomoto stiffened up.
そんなの当然だろ。この俺を誰だと思ってんだっつうのは。
お前だから疑ってんだ。このエキセントリックバカ。俺の質問に答えろ。
うるせえな。今は星野の役割を決めるんだろ。
ああ？ごまかすんじゃねえよ、エセガンタ野郎。
ごまかしてねえし。適当なこと言うな、サイバーワカメが。
Cyber seaweed. Guys, now's not the time to be fighting.
いい加減にしておけ。
My intervention was futile. No, I didn't intervene at all. Yanagi got all of them settled down with a mere sentence.
榎本、俺も
I'll be getting caught up on chat here in just a little bit.
何か問題があるなら相談に乗る。隠さずに言ってくれ。
Yanagi was trying to calm him down, but Enomoto seemed more restless.
俺のことはもういいっすから。大丈夫だし。話進めてください。
そうか。わかった。それから星野、お前にも確認しておきたいことがある。事件を捜査するにあたって、お前の希望はあるか？
A preference? The nature and the MO of the X-Day crimes changed from month to month. None of the cases have been solved aside from September, where the suspect died, so we should look into the other months. If I choose to investigate a case that someone else was already assigned to, we'd obviously end up working together. Seeing as how that is the case, I should choose my preference carefully.
バカ猫も知ってるだろうが、X デイ事件はアドニスによる組織的犯行だ。例えば、8月の実行犯がお前を拉致した事件に関わってなくても、首輪について知ってる可能性は高い。どの月にしても犯人を捕まえて吐かせればいい。首輪を外す方法と仕組んだやつについてな。
I see.
9月の事件みたいに自殺されない限り、実行犯を捕まえりゃ何かしら組織とのつながりは出てくるはずだしな。手紙にあった X デイ事件の真実っつうのも手がかりが得られるんじゃねえの？
そう簡単にいけばいいが。星野、お前にも明日から捜査に加わってもらう。事件の概要を改めて頭に入れておいてくれ。
Yes.
あとお前には署内にいる人間から警察の情報を引き出してもらうからな。
え？
お前の使い道って言えば今のとこそれくらいしかないし。
おいおいおい、それミスってバレたらクビじゃねえか。
それはこいつの努力次第だろう。現に白石さんはうまく抜いてる。
My gosh, Sasazuka. Wait, are you telling me that Shiraishi is leaking information from the police department to you?
まああの人は容量いいからな。バカ猫に期待はしねえけど。白石さんは気まぐれだし、欲しい情報が条件付きの時もある。お前がうまく使えれば手間が減る。そもそもお前に選択権なんてないだろ。黙って従え、バカ猫。
Sasazuka was really scary. Annoyingly, I couldn't think of a comeback to his demeaning put-downs.
警察組織の人間であるお前が安易に情報を流せないのは当然だ。できる範囲でいい。内部で信用できそうなやつから少しでも多く情報を集められればお前自身の役にも立つだろう。
I'm not assigned to investigations, so yeah.
だが警察に事情を明かせない以上誰彼構わずというわけにはいかない。笹塚。
At Yanagi's behest, Sasazuka turned his computer screen so that I could see.
情報を引き出すならまず鑑識課に行け。でこの女を呼び出せ。
There was an image of a woman on his screen, along with a brief profile. It said her name was Kotoho Sakuragawa, and that she worked in forensics.
おお、桜川さんか。確かにあの人ならやり方次第じゃ力になってくれるかもな。
いや、断られることはない。こいつにはお前に協力するよう約束を取り付けてあるからな。
お前、肉で釣っただろ。
単純なやつは釣りやすくて助かる。結構金はかかったけど。
With a knowing smile, Sasazuka gestured at my collar. Meat? Looking at her profile, her favorite food was listed as meat. So they swayed her with expensive food?
白石さんよりは人脈もあるし、少しは頼りになるだろう。
Huh? But why can't Shiraishi just go and talk to this person?
ああ、そりゃ絶対無理だわ。桜川さん、白石さんのこと苦手だから。顔見ただけでダッシュで逃げるし。
I see. I think I know how she felt. He's scary, but in a different way than Sasazuka is. The way he acts, the way he looks at you like you're a lab rat, he's almost incomprehensible. I get the feeling that he's kinda like the people who put this collar on me.
もし約束を無視しようとしたら、肉を目の前でちらつかせればどうとでもなる。
Right.
他にも事情を隠した上で協力してくれるやつはいるかもしれないが、まず
俺たちも捜査する上で現場に行ったり聞き込みはするけど、事件の新情報はどうしても遅れを取っちまうから。
警察のデータベースあさってみてもめぼしい情報は得られなかったしな。
Eh?
何？
Nothing. When Sasazuka was on the force, he used to work in the cybercrimes division. So he's probably been illegally accessing police computers. I had a feeling that was the case, but I didn't feel like voicing my suspicions.
とにかく可能な範囲で警察内部の動きを探ってくれ。
Got it.
白石は興味のある事件にしか気が向かないしな。今はそれも難航しているようだが。
Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Somebody's here? I made sure my collar was hidden and then looked over at the door. Suddenly, Yanagi's hand covered my mouth. Huh? What is he? When I looked at him in confusion, he silently shook his head. He's telling me not to talk? I nodded and Yanagi removed his hand.
探偵事務所さん、警察です。巡回連絡に来ました。
At this hour? Where have I heard that voice before? Ah! Okazaki? Everybody gave me a sharp look for blurting out Okazaki's name.
今声が聞こえましたよ。いるなら早く開けてください。
They all heaved sighs and I hung my head. Sorry.
マジでバカ猫。
岡崎、客が来てるんだ。今日は帰ってくれ。
お客さん？あ、猫さんでしょう。
猫さんなんだそれ。
He's talking about me. Actually, I told them about the time when Okazaki tried to talk to me.
ああ、なんだそりゃ。つってもごまかすためだし仕方ねえか。俺らも口裏合わせなきゃだよな。
適当に依頼受けたことにすりゃいいだろう。猫探しとか。
探偵事務所が表向きだってことは岡崎も知ってる。適当な依頼内容じゃあいつは食い下がるぞ。
ちぇ、めんどくせえ
な。別に事情を話す必要はない。本物の探偵にも守秘義務はあるしな。
I nodded at Yanaki's explanation. Once I understood, he opened the door.
やっと開けてくれた。イルスなんてひどいな。
Okazaki strolled into the middle of the room and smiled at me.
猫さんこんばんは。
Hello. For now, we've decided that I'll start contributing to the investigation tomorrow. If I stay here any longer, I might let something slip and cause problems. I should leave this to them and go home. Then that settles my business. Thank you for taking on my request. Pretending to be a client, I then started to leave the room.
あ、待って。
Until Okazaki blocked my path. This felt familiar.
もう遅いから俺が送るよ。女の子一人じゃ危ないから。ね。
I knew it! But didn't you have your own business to attend to here?
また戻ってくるから大丈夫。ほら、行こう。
He's saying all that while smiling again. I turned around to ask the people behind me for help, but
ここで引き止めるのは逆に怪しいな。
ほっとけ。いくらバカ猫でも岡崎くらい適当に流せるだろう。
今朝なんともなかったんなら大丈夫じゃね。
ah, they're giving up because I'm not worth it.
ね、早く行こう。あんまり遅くなると家の人が心配するだろうから。
My refusals this morning had no effect, and they wouldn't work now, as I expected. I left the place with Okazaki pushing my back. All right. Let's get caught up on chat here. It was a long time till I found a church for you, and that was why no baptism for so long. Actually, you found a church this year. That's great. I hope that you love it. I hope it is a wonderful Bible-believing church and that you feel at home there. A good friend of mine celebrates her baptism every year, kind of like a birthday. It's awesome to look back on and remember all that God has done. I love that. I absolutely love that. I am not live tomorrow. I'm live on Tuesday evenings and Saturday mornings. Some brothers in arms these guys are, right? Okay, I know there's a rogue freedom fighter organization running around, but good night, guys, right? Okazaki started heading in the direction of my home without asking for directions. Not creepy at all. He's only been there once. This guy's got a pretty good memory. During my odd feeling of admiration, I realized I hadn't said a word since we left. This is awkward.
ね、聞いてもいい？
Oh, sure. What is it? Okazaki gently broke the silence as if he sensed the tension. Although it'll be problematic if he asks something I can't answer.
猫さんがあの探偵事務所に依頼を持ち込んだ時なんだけどね。
Straight to that?
土下座の他に何かした？
What else?
考えてみたんだけど、あの人たちが土下座をされただけで依頼を受けるかなってちょっと不思議だったんだ。
You see, I desperately racked my brain and said what came to mind. The truth is, I paid them a large sum of money. I don't know whether or not they're in financial trouble, but I think that sounds like a valid enough reason to take a job. But they aren't really enticed by cash. I was aware of this, so I just felt like I had dug my own grave.
ああ、そっか。それなら受けてくれるかもね。
But Okazaki nodded as if he understood. I was relieved that I hadn't just blown it. If I had, he would really suspect me. That said, I did find it curious that Okazaki would accept money as a legitimate reason. He draws a government salary, right? Maybe he's fallen on hard times. My thoughts had wandered off on a tangent. Glancing at the Shinjuku office buildings, I thought of the future. Starting tomorrow, I'll be working with the others. I still didn't know anything about them. I didn't just need to learn about X-Day. I needed to learn about the group members. We'll finally be working together, so I think it'd be good to get to know them better. And the perfect guy to help me with that was walking right in front of me. Okazaki?
何？
Well, I did choose that detective agency back there to take my job. But I've only met them a few times, so I don't know whether I can really trust them. Okazaki, is there anything you can tell me about those people? That you can tell me? Anything at all to reassure me? I was posing as a client, so I didn't think this was a strange thing to ask. My heart pounded as Okazaki looked at me.
いいよ。俺が知ってること教えてあげる。
Oh, thank you very much.
まずは柳さんからね。あの人は大人だと思う。
Huh?
他の3人と違って一歩引いて物事を見極めてるっていうか。それにタケルくんとミネオくんが喧嘩するたびに仲裁してるよ。こうどっしりしてて探偵事務所のお父さんって感じ。
That totally makes sense. That totally adds up given what we know of Yanagi at the moment. Father. The image fit him to a T, and I giggled at how apropos it was. Then, what about Sasazuka?
タケルくんはね、ああ見えて優しいんだよ。
Nice? Really?
その顔は信じてないでしょ。
No, it's just Sasazuka always acts so prickly.
でもたまにドーナツくれるよ。それやるから帰れって言われちゃうけど。
Wait, isn't that just him trying to bribe you to leave with donuts?
あとミネオくんは見ての通りだよね。
Oh, is that all?
そういえば彼のデスクに胸キュン告白100選って本が置いてあったよ。付箋もついてた。きっとロマンチストなんだよね。こっそり付箋がついてたページ見ちゃったんだけど、聞きたい？
No, I think I'll pass.
そうあとは白石さんか彼はおかしな人だよね
That's putting it mildly. Weird? It seems like I might finally gain some valuable intel. I looked at Okazaki with expectant eyes. When you say weird, what do you mean specifically?
実はあの人怒ってる時でも顔は笑ってるんだよ観察してると違いが分かって面白いかな
I expected so much more than that. Nothing Okazaki had told me had much substance to it at all. Alright, we've got an ad break coming up in about a minute, and I will make sure to go to BRB so you guys don't miss a thing. I suppose Okazaki must observe the guys in the agency a lot to notice all those details about them. I snuck a sideways glance at Okazaki. For some reason, there was an eye mask in the pocket of his well-worn suit. He wore an absent-minded look and a flippant manner of speech. If it wasn't for his badge, I'd never believe that he was an SP officer. Right? Shiraishi's weird. Yes, we are well aware.
ねえ俺の顔に何かついてる
Is that an SP badge? I've seen them in dramas, but I wondered if that's what they actually looked like. I was just trying to make small talk, but I also wanted to know more about him, so the question slipped out. My curiosity overpowered my mental defenses. It just felt like something was off about him.
うん当たりだよ正真正銘の SP バッジ
Without even a hint of caution, he confirmed his position in the SP.
今もある任務があって事務所周辺を張ってるんだ
A mission.
あの男は X デー事件を捜査中の俺たちを守るという任務についている警視庁警備部警護課の岡崎圭だ
I remembered what Yanagi told me earlier.
だから彼らのことはよく知ってるよ知っておかないといけないからね
Alright, we're in ads. I will see you guys in a minute. Alright, we are back from ads. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm gonna go ahead and have him play that dialogue one more time because it started right as we went into ads.
だから彼らのことはよく知ってるよ知っておかないといけないからね
I knew this was weird. Why was Okazaki protecting them when they'd all quit the police force? Or was it his official mission to protect them while his objective was elsewhere? I knew I had to tread lightly, but there were so many questions I wanted answers to. If he's assigned to their office, I might run into him again. Right now, I wanted to know more about the people around me. I'm gonna go with... is working for the SP hard, because I feel like that would be a more natural thing Because as a client, she might not notice, like, to keep up her facade, so to speak, as, oh, no? What are you trying to protect? Okay. I would have gone with his working for the SP hard because it feels like a more natural thing that a client would ask. But you're right, it would be more Ichika-esque, there we go, to go with what are you trying to protect? Okazaki, what are you trying to protect? The SP protects important individuals. Apparently he was protecting Yanagi's group, but I didn't know why. If that was just a pretext, then what was he really trying to protect? The question slipped out as I pondered this. Oh no, was that too direct? But the damage was done. Okazaki's smile disappeared. And he watched me silently. Right? I would have gone with that just as I did last time. Exactly. I'm like, it just feels more Ichika-esque to ask that. To be like, okay, as I'm posing as a client, I'm gonna go with client wouldn't notice that he said he was protecting people, and just gone like, oh, well, is that hard? You know, because he doesn't know that she's a cop. And he watched me silently. Right? This does not bode well for the future. Nobody would smile when they'd been questioned about their mission. What if he suspects me because of this? Did I make a wrong choice?
何を守ろうとしてるのか。
Should I have gone with my initial instinct? Okazaki's gaze dropped, and he looked like he was asking himself the question. Even though it was a misguidedly blunt question, was it really such an unusual question for an SP officer to be asked? As I was nervously watching him, Okazaki suddenly looked up and was smiling.
特別なものだよ。
Okay. Okay. Huh?
俺が守るべきものはね、特別で大切でとても重くてかけがえのないもの。
The warmth in his voice felt to me like the task he described was very dear to him. Okay, good. Okay, good. Oh man, I'm like, when his smile dropped, I'm going, uh-oh, what is going to happen here? What is he going to do? Is he going to be like, are you a cop kind of thing? Is he going to put two and two together? He radiated unadulterated faith, a goal he wanted to fulfill at any cost. That was what I felt from his thoughts. I know this is just what happens on TV, but SP agents protect special people, like VIPs, yes? Just in time, I managed to steer the conversation back on track. Oh, you just didn't want to see me pick the same thing twice. Gotcha. I honestly didn't remember that I had picked the is working for the SP hard the first time through. I'm like, I was just going with what felt most natural to me. Oh, it wouldn't have mattered since I'm out of the bad ending. Okay, good. Good.
そうじゃなきゃいけない。じゃなきゃ俺が SP でいる意味がないから。
Oh, previously read text is in blue? Oh, that makes sense. makes so much sense. It's that important to him? I'd assumed he took life more lightly. I had started to relax while talking to him, completely following his conversational lead. I discovered that beneath his act was a more unshakable determination than I'd imagined. Well, it only makes sense. As an SP officer, he risks his life for his job. As a fellow police officer, I knew that we affected the lives and deaths of other people, but I had assumed less of him. I was ashamed that I sold him short until now. I'm sorry.
どうして謝るの？
Well, I was prying into your job. I shouldn't have done that.
なんだ、気にしないで。ちょっとびっくりしただけ。誰を守ってるのかとか、どういう仕事なのかとか、そういうのだったら普通だけど、何を守ろうとしてるのかって改めて聞かれるとちょっと困るね。
You're right. I suppose that makes sense.
じゃあ、俺も聞いていい？ 何を守ろうとしてるの？
I'm kind of trying to protect myself. Huh? I didn't expect to have my question turned on me, so my thoughts ground to a halt. Shinjuku, which was ruled by fear, the people living in terror, my friends, relatives, and my brother Kazuki. And... You're right. It's tough to put an answer to that question into words.
でしょ？
He felt that it was pointless to be the SP if he wasn't protecting something important. Like him, I also became a cop because I wanted to protect something. I still do. I didn't want to lose the part of me that had worked to become a police officer. I feel the same way. The things that I'm trying to protect are very important to me.
そっか。
After that, we chatted about lighter things as we walked. Alrighty, sounds good. You have fun with that. Hope your mom is doing well. And that you're able to get those mesh problems taken care of. God bless and we'll see you later, dreamer. After that, we chatted about lighter things as we walked. Thank you for taking me home.
またいつでも送るよ。
That would definitely be problematic. I was going to watch Okazaki leave, but I saw him watching me intently. What is it?
ねえ、君は困ったことがあって、あの探偵事務所に依頼したんだよね。
Oh, yes, that's true.
俺もね、探し物をしてるんだ。彼らなら見つけてくれるかなって思ってた。
Past tense? Judging from the innocent smile on his face, whatever he was looking for seemed to be something he sincerely wanted to find. I was drawn in by his smile, which was able to warm even my heart. Did Yanagi's office help you find it?
もうすぐ見つかりそうかな。そんな予感がしてる。
Me?
じゃあまたね。おやすみなさい、猫さん。
Before I could ask him what he meant, Okazaki spun around and left. Ah. He's quite a mysterious individual. But he was someone who took his job seriously and had a fiery determination to protect others. I also have to do my best to protect what is precious to me, too. As I reflected upon Okazaki's attitude, I was reminded of my own personal situation as a police officer. Alright, you guys, I'm going to take a super quick bio break. I will be back in just a minute. Alrighty, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me through that. When I got home, I could hear Kazuki laughing in his room. In the doorway, I noticed another pair of boys' shoes. I glanced up at the clock. It was long past midnight. I should send him home. Ah! It'd be dangerous to make him leave now. Kazuki, could I talk to you? Without a reply, the door opened and Kazuki's irritated face peeked out.
今友達来てんだけど。
I know that, but is your friend's family okay with it? Did you make sure to tell them so they know he's safe? Kazuki clicked his tongue and glared at me.
大丈夫だから放っておいてくんない。
He tried to close the door, but I stuck my slipper in before he could. That's not all right. His parents might be worried, you know? Just tell me whether you called them or not.
うるせえな。大丈夫だって言ってんだろ。
Dude! Kazuki! Respect your sister. I saw somebody behind Kazuki.
こんばんは、お姉さん。遅くまですみません。
Oh, Akito. Good evening. Akito was Kazuki's best friend. Well, that's what I assumed he was because he came over so often. It's dangerous to go out at this hour, so I don't mind if you stay the night.
あ、すみません。じゃあ、泊まらせてもらうって親に連絡しておきます。
Yeah, please do that.
もういいだろう。じゃあな。
Kazuki kicked my slipper out of his doorway, and it caroomed off the hallway wall. There we go. With a tiny sigh, I slipped my foot back into the slipper. I organized the discarded mess of shoes in the entrance, thinking of Kazuki. Kazuki went to a high school within Shinjuku. He persuaded our parents to let him go to school here, provided he'd stay with me, and left our distant home of Niigata. I'm sure Mom and Dad are worried. I contact them every once in a while. Wanting him to stay as safe as possible, I once suggested to Kazuki that maybe it'd be a good idea to stay home and not go to school. But he just said, "Are you kidding me?" in a really threatening tone. Discouraged, I went into the living room and plopped down on my bed. I absent-mindedly turned on the TV, where the X-Days incidents were dominating news coverage. While pondering life in general, my thoughts drifted to Kazuki. He didn't used to be that way. I came to Tokyo right after I graduated. When I lived in Niigata, even if we didn't get along, we could at least speak normally. But ever since he started staying here, our relationship has worsened. Day by day, it felt like we were drifting further and further apart. I wish we could go back to how things were. Groggily turning, I felt the foreign object on my neck and snapped back to reality. That's right. For Kazuki, I need to uncover the truth behind X-Day. Right? Poor Ichika. Akito is more respectful towards her than her own brother. But yeah, very well written. Very, very well written. I couldn't simply count on Yanagi's group. I wanted to contribute too. I got up and picked up the remote to shut off the TV.
では次のニュースです。若者から高い支持を集めている衆議院議員の三国玲氏が
Oh, I remember him. When I was back at the academy, he had some really passionate supporters.
本人も新宿内にいる身として隔離された新宿区への安全保障を呼びかけるとともに X デー事件に言及し
Yeah, that's a fair point there, Soul. That is a very fair point. I don't know how the government does things, but it seems like the police aren't the only ones having
警
problems.
察の落ち度と司法の在り方について批判した発言が問題沙汰にされており
Right now, I need to worry about myself. Scolding myself for getting distracted, I turned off the TV. I'll be starting my investigations tomorrow, so I should review the cases. I I booted up my PC to go over some articles about the X-Day incidents. Which one should I review? Let's start with April and May. We'll start with the earliest and then go all the way through. We'll see how far we can get into all of these. So we've got about 40 minutes, and then I need to head back and double check on the dog, let him out for a little exercise. Police abduction incident. April 4th, 20XX. It all began with this video. A video on the Shinjuku Station TVs showed a group of what appeared to be tied up police.
汚れた日本を再生するため、これより X デイへのカウントダウンを開始します。
The altered voice disclosed a list of scandals the four people were accused of. Collusion with organized crime, embezzlement, trumping up evidence, excessive use of force, bullying fellow officers into unaliving themselves.
彼らのような犯罪者には裁きを下さなければなりません。我々は世界の断りを再生させ、弱者が虐げられるだけの世の中を変えるのです。
Viewers wondered if it was a tacky commercial. The indifferent voice echoed through Shinjuku. Then, the video displayed these words.
X デイへのカウントダウン9。
The gruesome countdown mentioned at the start of the video had begun. Officer abductions and murder. May 4th. The officers in the disturbing video hadn't been found, and the situation turned dire. This was broadcast online, unlike in April. After that short intro, gunshots rang out. This voice kind of reminds me of the Animal Crossing voices. When judgment was rendered, the voice spoke. Right? That first video would still be pretty disturbing for a commercial. I'm not sure tacky does it justice. More like spooky. Exactly. Exactly, Soul. The police arrived far too late. The death of one officer was confirmed. However, many others' bloodstains were found. The other 3 victims had just vanished. Alright. I'm curious, which one do you guys think is the most creepy voice? Middle school explosion. June 4th, an explosion occurred at a middle school in Shinjuku, killing all members of a class. They were doing a science experiment at the time, so it was initially ruled an accident. However, the damage caused changed the ruling. Right? Speaking of spooky, were the animal masks really necessary? Right? The Roman numeral 7 was drawn on the roof of the building, and a coin was found at the site, identical to the ones in the May crime. It's likely linked to April and May's cases. No fingerprints were found at the scene, and all people present perished, so much is still unknown about this case. Explosive residues were found, but they were from easily obtainable components. A school festival had been held recently, so determining suspects has been difficult. Afterwards, the group calling itself Adonis uploaded a video in mid-June.
痛ましい事件が起きてしまいました。ですが、これは無差別殺人ではありません。死亡した全員が罪人です。どれほどの罪を負っていたか知れば、皆さんにも納得していただけるでしょう。我々アドニスは悲しみを救済するため、罪人への裁きを続けます。X デイへのカウントダウン。7
A dedicated investigations office in Shinjuku Station was set up to handle X-Day cases. Let's look in July. Stalker. July 1st. A man who had been stalking a woman was killed by a bystander. The assailant was caught on the spot. Many witness accounts thought that it was a legitimate act of self-defense. However, the assailant was previously taken into custody as a suspect for the May X-Day incident, so he's currently in detention. Afterward, the Roman numeral 6 and another coin were found at the victim's residence. Both the assailant and the stalking victim were suspected to have ties to Adonis, but no evidence was found to corroborate this. In early August, Adonis released a video declaring the incident part of the countdown. Ugh, this one I think is so far the creepiest. Right? There's something about the way that it vibrates, the way that it does.
昔からストーカー被害を訴えていたにもかかわらず警察も取り合わなかった我々アドニスはこの悲しみを見過ごせず悲願 X デーへのカウントダウン6そして
Oh, sorry.
今月はカウントダウン5近々再び裁きが下ります
Okay. I need to be better about slowing down and letting it finish. Okay. August. Online gamer serial killings. This incident had the most victims aside from the June middle school bombing and crumbled public opinion of internet users. August 2nd, 3 men were shot to death in Shinjuku. However, their locations in the city, times of death, and their ages were unrelated. However, the numeral 5 was left at each crime scene in addition to the coin. The killings were declared related to X-Day. From August 5th to August 7th, 3 people were killed per day, making 9 victims in total. Including the first 3 victims, all of the deceased played the same online game. A thread that bound the victims was found. The police appealed for caution, but the game had millions of players across the country, and panic erupted nationwide. There were many victims, and obstacles like hackers attacking the game servers made the investigation extremely difficult. Then, on August 14th, 3 more players of the game were killed at different locations. All victims belonged to the Shinjuku Guild, and they were all Shinjuku residents. It was speculated that in-game bullying might have been what sparked these killings. There was a terrible fear that a large number of people had been complicit in the murders. On August 18th, a victim was found who claimed to regret bullying others online. This person was not a resident of Shinjuku. In late August, another video was uploaded.
無差別殺人 正義がないとおっしゃる方が多いようですね。あなた方は知らないだけです。彼らは殺される必要があった。裁かれるほどの罪を犯したのです。我々は未来の被害者を救ったのですよ。X デイへのカウントダウン。
The country was in fear of Adonis, yet distrust of the police mounted, mainly due to their ineffectiveness on the X-Day cases. For now, the damage was limited to Shinjuku, but what if Adonis turned their eyes outward? If bullying in a video game warranted death, what sort of sin would merit judgment next? Anyone could be next. This incident was the impetus for the Shinjuku Quarantine Act, as well as the repeal of the Swords and Weapons Control Law within Shinjuku. Oh, that's not a creepy face at all. September 7th, another video was uploaded declaring that the countdown to X-Day had reached 4, and displaying Adonis' signature coin. No, that was the video game people. August was the online bullying one, wasn't it? Okay, cool. Just making sure I didn't accidentally skip something. I think this one is probably second creepiest. On September 7th, the body of Ken Hachisuka, who lived alone, was discovered in his apartment by his girlfriend. The police believed it to be a murder disguised as an unaliving. Only a Roman numeral was discovered at the scene, not the coin. The police firmly believed this to be another X-Day killing and investigated. It was discovered that another man visited the apartment the day of the murder. The visitor's name was Yuki Tsunamori. He also attended the same free school as the victim, and they had interacted before. His fingerprints were found at the scene, and the police investigated him as a likely suspect. Tsunamori claimed to be a, quote, chosen one, and had a coin like the others that were found. Analysis found the coin to be exactly the same as those found at previous X-Day scenes. The police arrested Tsunamori as an X-Day suspect and ceased further investigation. Then, 1 month later, on October 7th, another video declaring the countdown had reached 3, displaying Adonis' signature coin, was uploaded to the internet. Nope, this one's second creepiest. No worries whatsoever. Yeah, this one's definitely second creepiest. I feel the chill in my spine with that. Investigations was concerned about the September video, but the suspect Tsunamori was already in custody. Also, no new X-Day style events had occurred, and no deaths were reported. However, the day after the video went live, Tsunemori unalived himself in his cell. The police had lost their only X-Day lead, and the truth was shrouded in darkness. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's definitely the warble in the first one and the air of sadness in the second. That's definitely it. That is definitely it. They're super close. Like, it's hard for me to determine which one would be first and which one would be second. Hey, Rusty, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Hope your weekend is going well. Disguised traffic accident incident. November 5th, a collision between a truck and a motorcycle officer led to 2 fatalities. This was initially reported as an accident, but surveillance camera footage revealed that the traffic lights had been manipulated, and the incident was reclassified as an X-Day event. The Roman numeral 2 was discovered at the scene, and one of the victims was holding the signature coin, but this was not publicized. An investigation treating this as part of the X-Day cases was started. After this, Adonis uploaded another video to the internet.
世の中には生きてはいけない人間がいます。保身、権持欲、承認欲求、優越感。それらを満たすためだけに他人の尊厳を踏みにじる者。醜い欲にまみれた自我を持つ人間たちに我々アドニスが正義の裁きを下しました。X デイへのカウントダウン2。
We'll go with that's enough for now. We've reviewed all of them. Even for a summary, there was much to digest. Even if I decided to undertake this on my own, I would have nowhere to start. Or no idea where to start. I need some direction. Oh, and if someone is working on this month's cases, we'll be working on it together. The letter said I needed to grasp the truth of X-Day. In that case, it might be quickest to investigate them as a whole with Yanagi. He was also sympathetic about the caller. Enomoto is looking into April and May, I think. The first case, eh? The April and May incidents started it all. There might be some good hints there. I had personal interest in August when the quarantine and weapons policy were enacted. Suzuka's on August. I wonder if we'd really cooperate, though. Next was... that just leaves Shiraishi. Shiraishi was scary in his own unique way. Out of the whole group, he was the only one who was openly enjoying my situation. He had a unique way of viewing my caller. He saw it as a source of great amusement. Besides, Shiraishi is the one who could most easily plant the letters. If someone at the station slipped the letter into investigation's files, I had to be wary. However, the most obvious suspect wasn't some shadowy mole, but rather Shiraishi. If I'm going to investigate Shiraishi, I'll probably have to work on the case he has. He moved between the police and Yanagi's group. It was odd that he'd decided to reopen the already solved September case. I'm so confused. Further complicating things, I'd have to work my day job while secretly investigating. I'm terrified, but I have no choice. Okay, I've got a handle on what I have to do. I had a rough idea of what I'd have to do starting tomorrow, so I sighed in relief. Speaking of which, they told me to go to Sakuragawa for help getting intel out. I'll go see her tomorrow. The next day, I was on call during my lunch break, and I could be summoned at any time. Before I eat, I should go see Sakuragawa in forensics. There we go. I took a deep breath in front of the door to forensics and knocked. Excuse me. I opened the door and spoke to a man sitting just beyond it. Good afternoon. I'm Ichika Hoshino from the SRCPO local office. Is Kotoho Sakuragawa in?
お疲れ様です。ちょっと待っててください。おい、桜川。
A woman seated at a desk further inside reacted to the call out. She was the woman I'd seen in the photo. This was definitely Sakuragawa.
なんだよ。今手が離せな。
Sakuragawa's eyes went wide when she saw me, and she approached me right away. Good afternoon. I'm...
知ってる。ついてきな。
With that curt response, Sakuragawa exited the room immediately, without even waiting for me to do likewise. I anxiously hurried after her. She took me to the roof. We would obviously be less likely to be seen or overheard up here. Sakuragawa narrowed her eyes and scouted the area, and spoke when she thought it was clear.
あんたのことは笹塚から聞いてる。柳さんがやってる探偵事務所に X デー事件についての依頼が来たんでしょ。調査協力者を警察に送り込んだから世話してやってほしいって。ほんと迷惑な話だよ。
I'm sorry. Sakuragawa shot a doubtful and disapproving glare at me.
あんたさ、バレたらクビだって分かってんの
I thought this was just a meet and greet, but Sakuragawa cut right to the chase. She was testing my dedication to the investigation. I thought I'd been doing everything I could each day to protect Shinjuku and its citizens. I thought that the X-Day investigation was in a distant, different world than mine. But now, I was right in the thick of it. I want to do everything that I can. I'm gonna go with I want to research X-Day's beginnings, because that's what I'm going to be helping Enomoto with. I nodded to show that I understood the path I would take. I've made up my mind. I'm ready. I plan to start by researching the April case where all this started, and then move on to the May case.
原点からね。直近の事件だってあるのに、なんでそこにこだわるわけ？
Well,
それより X デー事件を調べてください。真実を知ればきっとあなたたちは今の正義を貫けなくなる。それでも我々の志に反するのが正しいと思えるかどうか見定めさせてもらいます。
justice. Adonis had used the word repeatedly. They seemed like they planned to continue the murders, but I thought there was more to it. At least, that was my gut feeling. The police are working hard on the cases, but we still have information gaps on the X-Day crimes. These X-Day crimes are just that dense. There's so much going on in every case. I thought it would be best to start from the beginning.
その分だと決意だけは固いみたいだね。にしても捜査に不慣れな特防がしゃしゃり出てくるとか、私らが信用されてないみたいだけど。
That's not true at all. It's true that I'm inexperienced. I want your advice because you've been at so many crime scenes.
そんな必死になんなくてもいいよ。ごめん、ちょっと意地悪だったね。
Will you help me then?
まあ、いいよ。笹塚に頼まれた時は正直面倒だなって思ったけど、あんた誰かが手を貸してやらないと何も調べようがないじゃん。
Yeah, I know.
初見で気に食わないやつだったら考えてたけど、事件を追う熱意はあるみたいだし、なんでもってわけにはいかないけど、融通が利く範囲でなら協力してあげる。
Thank you so much. She looked scary in her photo, but I'm glad that she turned out to be a kind person. Just as I patted my chest in relief,
まあ、協力してあげたらその都度誠意は現物でもらうけどね。
え？
食べ放題の焼肉とかすき焼きとか、あ、ステーキでもいいよ。
Okay. It would be a necessary expense. Apparently, Sasazuka plied her with meat too. I'll have to budget for this. While I thought about my unfortunate reality, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I nodded to Sakuragawa and proceeded to take the call. Yes, this is Hoshino.
星野、事件だ。被害者が出た。住宅街での犯行らしくてな。現場が混乱してる。特防にも応援要請が入った。すぐに向かうぞ。
Yes, sir. I hung up the phone and saw Sakuragawa running for the rooftop exit. I was sure she had orders to move out too. I have to hurry. I quickly put my phone away and started moving to the crime scene. We finished Chapter 0. Thank you! Thank you! Help! A video believed to be linked to the X-Day crimes was sent to the police. Additionally, it was sent to a common internal email address. In the video, it looked as if a film projector was projecting a digital timer onto the chest of a man who had been bound by a rope. When the countdown reached 0, the man would be executed. A gag order was issued to prevent a panic, and the transmission source was traced. But by the time the location had been identified, the victim had already been killed.
おい、何があったんだ？まさか X デー事件じゃないだろうな。
Alright, we've got about 10 minutes before I need to end, so we'll see how much further we can get, and see if we're able to finish up this scene. We're very sorry. We cannot discuss details at this moment.
ちょっといい加減にしてよ。何も知らないって言ってるでしょ。
失礼しました。これも職務なもので、ご協力感謝いたします。
While Mochida and I were collecting statements and controlling the perimeter, there was an unending stream of curious onlookers. We can't assume it's not a copycat crime, but a coin was found at the scene. If it matches the coins that Adonis has left at every other crime scene, then this will become an official X-Day case. Adonis had made one attack per month, and I'd thought my collaring was this month's incident. But that theory would crumble if this homicide turned out to be an X-Day killing.
すいません、ここ通してほしいんですけど、家がすぐそこなんで。
Yes. I'll escort you, ma'am. While I guided the woman, my mind drifted to thoughts about the collar. Okay, first off, this scene is a crime scene. They should not be letting anybody onto that crime scene until they've got all the details they can collect from there. That way the scene doesn't get... It prevents tampering with the scene and tampering with evidence. Yanagi's team saved me within the time designated by my attacker, but the victim this time... When I thought about it, I was filled with soul-crushing regret. I had walked the area, hoping to find some clues, but I hadn't learned anything useful. I was learning that enthusiasm alone didn't solve complex problems.
星野、そんな風に落ち込んでも捜査は進展しないぞ。前を見ろ。
Yeah, sorry.
これまでの捜査もなかなか事件の核心に迫る証言は得られなかったからな。こういうのは根気強さが大切なんだ。そうすればそのうち巧妙が見えてくる。
I suppose you're right. When we get back to the office, I'll compile a report of the statements we took.
しかし、今回は随分惜しかったらしいな。
え？
さっき小耳に挟んだんだが、予告動画が送られてきてから異例の速さで現場を特定できたらしい。まあ実際は間に合わなかったわけだが、あと10分20分早ければ食い止められた可能性が高かったそうだ。
Oh no.
わざわざ動画を一般公開せず警察に送りつけてきたことといい、なんだか犯人がほくそ笑んでいるようでどうにも歯がゆいな。
It makes us feel pretty helpless. It's hard to struggle with your fear on the brink of death, not knowing if you'll be saved. I had experienced that fear firsthand, and I didn't want anyone else to feel it. If I have time to be depressed, then there's someone I can help somehow. I scolded myself and thought ahead. You've always had it in your head that they taped off the scene, but onlookers were just outside the perimeter wanting answers. Yeah, that's how I picture it too. But I don't think that they would have let anybody into the perimeter. Does that make sense? I don't think they would have let anybody go past the taped off area and go into the taped off area, even if they lived there. Because they wouldn't want anything to contaminate that scene. And so to me, I'm like, why are they letting her in just because just because they live there? You know what I mean? So by the time I finished processing the interviews and making my report, it had gotten to be pretty late in the evening. Sasazuka seemed upset. Oh. I may have read it wrong too, because I thought she said, "Hey, I live in this building." And then Ichika was like, "I'll lead you, like I'll be your escort." And so I would have thought that would have meant, like, I would have thought the entire building would have been blocked off and that nobody would even be allowed in the building. And so Because if she lives there and she's trying to get into the building, I would not have let her in. But if it's more a case of, hey, I live up the road, then I could see them leading her around the taped off area, making sure she didn't contaminate anything, and then she was on her way up the road. Sasazuka seemed upset. Last night, he sent a terse text telling me to go to the office, and I'd said I'd go once I was done. He might snap at me if I don't hurry. I turned my report in to Moshida and departed the police station for the detective office. While I walked, I decided I'd introduce myself to Enomoto since he was also on the April and May cases. We're gonna snooze that. Actually, of everyone in the office, Enomoto was closest to my age.
俺はお前のことを疑ってっから。お前が犯人と繋がってる可能性が高いってのは間違いない事実だからな。柳先輩が捜査に加えるって言うなら従うけど、変に期待すんなよ。
I just couldn't forget how blunt he had been with me. He may have been told to work with me, but it doesn't seem like he's okay with it. Alright, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and save here. Oh, no. Ah! Let me see, can I... Okay, there we go. I never remember all the buttons, and then I accidentally went onto auto. Okay. There we go. And then we'll go from there. And then switch to just chatting. And then just to distract myself from being, just to distract myself from, or not distract myself from saying my goodbyes. You guys, this has been amazing. I hope that this worked better, this format of waiting until the end of a scene or waiting until it feels like there's a pause in the scene to catch up with chat. I feel like it helps you get more immersed in the story. I hope that you guys are enjoying this. I hope that the story is interesting to you and that you have just as much fun as I'm having. And you know, we're detectives together. This is working out really well, I think. You're right, it wouldn't have made sense for them to let her into the taped off area. I don't think that's what happened. Exactly. I agree completely, 100%. Because as somebody who works for law enforcement, I can't imagine them doing that. I cannot imagine them letting her into the building. So... worked fine for you? Awesome! I'm glad we found a way where there's a nice balance, because that was my goal, was to find a nice balance where you guys still felt like you could chat and I would catch up with you, but you guys could also be immersed in the world. And it's kind of a nice mix of let's play with just chatting, you know what I mean? It's like that nice blend of the two that makes a beautiful little soup of Twitch awesomeness. Oh man, I don't even know why that analogy came to my head, but it's like blending together all the things that make Twitch wonderful into one. So, anyways, you guys have a fantastic weekend. I need to grab a bite to eat, and I need to get back to the house so that I can let the dog out and make sure that he's okay. And then I will see you guys on Tuesday. And always remember that God loves you, and so do I. Bye!